Alright guys, welcome back to Regular Guy Reviews. We're going to do another video with the Mac Mini M1. We've had it for a little while. We've been using it consistently for a good month now. But the one thing that we didn't like was the number of USB ports that it has. It doesn't have a lot of USB ports and everything's in the back. So I found on Amazon, scrolling through YouTube and scrolling through Amazon, this Quiizlab USB hard drive SSD enclosure. This one has more USB ports and a spot for your SD card for your cameras, as well as another USB-C port. It runs about $80 as of filming of this video. I just looked it up on Amazon. It comes in two different colors. It comes in space gray, or it comes in this silver color, which is the same color as the Mac Mini, so it kind of matches. It's really thin and it feels really well built. And as you can see, here's all the USB ports in the front. You got your micro SD, your regular size SD. You have two USB 3.0 ports, and you have one USB 3.1 port, and then your USB Type C. The one thing that we like, or that I liked about this, was that it came with extra hard drive enclosures. So as you know, we bought the base Mac Mini M1 with only 128 gigabytes of storage. It's not enough. It's definitely not enough, especially if you're going to be using it to do YouTube videos or any amount of little editing or anything anything substantial, I guess. I mean, throw a couple videos on there, a couple pictures, and it's full, and a couple programs. So this allows you to expand the storage without having dongles and wires and everything all over the desk. It's just a nice, clean look. So it's already, obviously we've already taken it out of the box, but what we're going to do is I'll show you the inside of the box. The packaging was kind of Apple-esque. The packaging was fairly good. If I could get the package open, as I sit here and struggle. The packaging was fairly good. Everything was wrapped in these nice, like, you know, plastic velvety kind of cases. You get some extra screws for the bottom of the hard drive enclosure, which I'll show you in a minute. A little screwdriver to open up the hard drive enclosure. You get some foam feet for the hard drive if you have a mechanical hard drive, because as I'm going to show you when we open it up, there's a lot of room in there and things move around. So if you have a mechanical hard drive instead of an SSD 2.5-inch drive, you don't want the mechanical drive flopping around. It'll make it die a lot faster. So you know, everything comes wrapped in, you know, in this nice, like, velvety kind of plastic stuff. And then all your accessories, your wires, your power wire, and the USB Type C wire was in the bottom of the box, and then this was sitting in here wrapped in the plastic. So it was well packaged. And for $80, you would expect it to be just kind of like tossed in there. But they did a good job with the packaging and the presentation when you first open it up. You know, the box has this little sleeve and all that. So on the back, you can see it's got the two hard drive enclosures, and it comes with the wire to wrap it, or to plug it into the back of your Mac Mini. Now you can use all the ports in the back of the Mac Mini to plug this up to it, and then it frees up all the ports in the front. There are some downsides to that, which we're going to discuss in a minute, but we're going to get down to showing you the enclosure and what's included in this, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got the desk view going. So this is the top of it. It's got a little printed Quiizlab logo on the top. Again, it's like an aluminum feeling kind of plastic. It's not metal. It's definitely plastic, but it's got an aluminum kind of feel to it. So to get you a little bit closer up, so you have your 3 indicator lights, one for the 2.5-inch drive, one for the M2, because this does support an M2 SSD, and one for the power. Again, you have your micro SD, your regular SD, USB Type-C, USB 3 or USB Type A 3.1, and 2 USB 3.0s. And on the back, hopefully this is focused, you have the USB-C that plugs into the back of the Mac, and then you have the power USB Type-C. Now you can plug the power up to the USB port in the back of the other USB port in the back of the Mac Mini. That'll take up both your ports in the back of the Mac Mini. However, there were some videos that I watched, and I was concerned with that too. The more hard drives you put in here, the more power is going to be pulled from the motherboard and the USB-C hub, or the USB-C ports in the back of the Mac Mini. You run a risk of shorting out those ports in the back of the Mac Mini if you're trying to draw too much power. So I would suggest an external power source, which is what we have this hooked up with. So I have a USB-C plug that plugs into the wall socket that provides the amount of power for this. It's a 5 amp like quick charger, so it's 30 watt 5 amp quick charger, and it's only going to pull the amount of power from that charger or that charge brick that your hard drives are gonna require. So it's not going to overvolt your hard drives or overheat anything or catch fire. We've been running this setup for about a month now with no issues, and we have noticed that the drive speed is a little bit faster than if we just have the power and the data transfer going through the back of the Mac Mini. So on the bottom, now you'll notice that I added some feet to add some level up for heat dissipation. You got the vents in the bottom for the hard drives. The M2 drive heats up a lot when it's under use. Not so much that it's going to melt or cause a fire or short anything out, but I didn't want to risk any of that. You can put this on top of the Mac Mini, but I rest the Mac Mini on top of this for almost a complete look. And I think that if I put this on the top of the Mac Mini, it would cover the Mac logo, and it looks better when the Mac Mini is resting on top of this. So I added these little like foam feet from my daughter's foam building blocks. Just put some Elmer's glue from a glue stick and glued them onto the little rubber feet. It does have rubber feet on the bottom, but I don't feel that they're high enough to let airflow go underneath, and especially we live down here in South Florida, so this could pose a problem. So we're going to open up the bottom here. So this is already installed when you take it out of the package. It comes with the 4 grub screws, and in the box there's extra, I think there's 3 extra grub screws, or these little like laptop screws, in case you lose some screws. So we'll unscrew this so you can see what's going on in here, and I'll show you exactly how this is set up. All right, so if we pop open the door and it just snaps into place there, that's it. You just line it up and push it down, and it's got the little pull tab to pull it up. So on the inside you have capacity for 2 drives. You can put a 2.5 inch drive, and you can put a M2 SSD. So in here we have a Samsung 970 Evo Plus 2 terabyte hard drive to add to the extra storage of the Mac Mini. We use Time Machine to back up our Mac Mini, so the exact amount, well, I'm sorry, we have a 256 gigabyte. I correct from earlier. It's a 256 gigabyte Mac Mini. We have a 256 gigabyte solid state drive, and we run this as our Time Machine backup drive. So our Mac is always backed up to this drive, and then this is going to be the main hard drive where we store all our extra videos, our footage, pictures, stuff like that. So this is where the foam that I showed you earlier would come into place, because even as you can see, the solid state drive is a little loose in there. So if you have a mechanical drive, this is going to be sitting on a desk. I wouldn't expect it to be moving around, but a mechanical hard drive moves around a little bit. So it's going to vibrate. You don't want it to vibrate because it's going to end up killing the hard drive faster than just a regular solid state hard drive. So the little foam goes underneath the drive, and then you just clip it right in. There's little connections down in the back here. So you would put it in on an angle. It's got the little, and then you just slide it in until you feel it click. And the same thing with the solid state drive. If you pull this, now the solid state drives are held in with these little rubber grommet feet thing, and then they just clip in right into there. So it would come in, it comes in on an angle, and you clip it in, and then clip it down and push the little rubber grub screw into it. This way the drive isn't flopping all over the place, and it holds everything down nice and tight. So you can see there's plenty of room for airflow, for heat to dissipate and get out of there. But the vents on the bottom, this is my biggest thing. I feel like the vents are not big enough. Maybe they didn't make them bigger. They didn't want the dust to go up inside there or anything. But if these were just a little bit bigger, I think it would dissipate the heat a little bit more. Again, I've noticed it get not extremely hot. I've noticed it get hot, not hot enough really to short anything out or melt any plastic components, but it was enough to worry me that the drive might overheat and fail sooner than what it's supposed to. So that's the reason for me adding the little rubber feet. So, I mean, you can add whatever, pencil erasers, whatever, put it up, just get a little bit of airflow underneath it. That would be my suggestion with this. Don't just rest the Mac Mini on these rubber feet that are on here and then set it on a desk. The weight of the Mac Mini, even though it weighs nothing, it's still going to weigh down on it a little bit, and I just feel like it's blocking the airflow. All right, so now in this mangled mess back here, I'm going to try to get you back here. I'm using handheld now just to show you. So the dongle is going to plug in here to the back of the Mac Mini, and it's going to plug into the back port, the data port, and then we have this is the power wire that runs into the 5-volt back of the Mac Mini, or back of the dock, to power the hard drives. And then that is what the setup looks like. So you can see the Mac Mini rests on top, and then you can see on the bottom here, you can see that with those feet, it leaves a little bit so that the air can flow underneath it, which is what we wanted. I just feel that if it's on top like this, you're covering up the Mac logo, and I don't know. It looks cleaner and better this way. All right, so we're gonna get closer. You can see the lights, the LED indicator lights. So when the drive is reading, this will the blue light will blink rapidly. The white light is for power. So if it's plugged into 5-volt, that light is always going to be on. The green light blinking is, I believe, for the the green light is for the 2.5-inch drive. The blue light is for the M2 drive. But as you can see, I mean, it kind of matches the Mac Mini. So there's not a lot to hate about it. I mean, the size, I mean, everything lines up almost perfectly with the Mac Mini. I mean, it's the same size. It's almost the same color. I mean, you really cannot tell a difference in the color. All right, guys. So now we're going to get you into on the screen view here, so I can show you the drive speeds. So again, here's up here, if you can see the mouse. Up here is the internal hard drive of the Mac Mini. Then I've named the M2 SSD, Macintosh SSD. This is just an extra added on storage device that we have, and this is our cloud. And then up here is the Time Machine backup in the upper right hand corner. So I've downloaded an app to kind of, here we go, Blackmagic Disk Speed. Now, this isn't going to be lightning fast. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. If you're a professional creator and do this for an absolute living, this is not going to be the fastest option for you. It's not going to be as fast as the internal SSD on the Mac Mini M1. But if you're going for the budget route and you just want to add extra storage and add a time machine backup, or have a backup drive for your Mac Mini, this I think is the way to go. So we're going to select our drive to just check the speeds and just see what we're getting here. All right, so there's our Macintosh SSD, and then we're going to start the test. So as you can see, we're getting, it's not the fastest thing. We're getting about 748 megabyte per second, right? And 661-ish for read times. So it's not lightning fast. It's not as fast as the drive is capable of, but it's plenty fast for moving files around. When you click on stuff to open it, I mean, it opens it almost immediately. Now again, my wife and I have been using this I don't even know if you want to call it a dock, maybe a hard drive enclosure. That's probably the way to word it. We've been using it for a little while. My wife has been taking her memory card out of her camera and putting it in here so she can edit videos from her YouTube channel. It's fast enough for our needs. It's fast enough for the average person. It's fast enough. It doesn't need to be blazing fast. It doesn't need to be it doesn't need to be super fast. I mean, let's see what if you're a professional, yeah, you're probably going to want the speeds. And I can't even, the box doesn't even say what speed it's capable of. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm reading here on the box for the hard drive that we bought, the 970 Evo Plus. Now, when you buy this in the Amazon listing, there's a specific set of drives that it's compatible with. Most of the Samsung Evo Plus series are supported. And then there's, I believe, some Western Digital that are supported. Not every M2 SSD is supported. So you'll have to read down at the bottom of the description. It has a list of the M2 hard drives that are supported. So if we're looking back at here, the advertised speeds of this drive is 3,500 megabytes per second. So we're not getting anywhere near those speeds with this dock. Do you need it that fast? If you were gaming or professional and you needed this to be an instant thing, yes, absolutely. It's probably not going to work. You'd probably want to get the bigger Mac. Or the bigger storage option for the Mac Mini. But again, you're limited to, some of the speeds transferring between, the USB-C, and you're fighting bandwidth with all stuff technical stuff that I'm not really that I don't really know too much about. All I know is that it works. It's been flawless. We've never had a problem with it, and it's plenty quick. And let's pull up the listing. So we'll type in Quiizlab, and there we go. Now you can see they make a bunch of different things. Here's the dock that we bought here. So it tells you right here, the USB-C, it's capable of handling 10 gigabytes per second for the SD, for the SD card. And it fits PCIe 3.0 NVMe M2 SSD drives and 2.5-inch SATA hard drives, or SSDs, whichever you put in there. And it's for the Mac Studio, Mac Mini, and it could be the Intel or the M1 versions of it. Down here, they're both $79. You can get the space gray or the silver. We matched our Mac Mini because we have a silver Mac Mini. We don't have a space gray Mac Mini, but they do come in 2 different colors. And as you can see here, is all the different enclosures. All right, guys. So, to close out the video, this Quiizlab USB-C dock hard drive enclosure, is it worth the money? In my opinion, absolutely. If you are on the fence about getting an M1 Mac Mini, this should be something to look into. If you want something that's clean and a minimalistic look, you don't want dongles hanging off to your Mac Mini, you don't want stuff hanging off the back, you don't want to turn the Mac Mini around so that you have easy access to ports, this adds all that. All the ports being on the back of the Mac Mini is kind of difficult, especially on our setup. Again, my desk isn't the cleanest thing in the world, but for our setup, it's kind of difficult. Plugging in microphones and plugging in all different accessories. It's a pain in the neck to do it from the back, and I don't really want to put the Mac Mini backwards. I mean, I'd rather it sit the way that it was designed to sit on the desk. I do like all the ports being off in the back because I can run the wires down off the back of the Mac and down into where all the power supply is and all. But I wish there were more ports on the front, and I don't have the means or the money to get a Mac Studio where I can have ports in the front. So this will add the ports to the front as well as give you additional storage. So if you don't want to spring for the 512 gigabyte Mac Mini, you can get the base model one and add hard drives later to add more storage. Is it going to be as fast as the internal SSD that you get from Apple? No, it's nothing that you do to this is going to make it as fast. But it is definitely worth the price for $80. I mean, that was a good deal, and we use it almost every day when we use our Mac. I mean, we don't have anything on the regular internal hard drive except for the computer programs. All our footage and pictures and videos are all on that M2 SSD, and everything comes up quick, fast, and we edit from there. Final Cut handles it perfect. There's no lag. Could it be faster? Absolutely. Am I going to notice it being faster? Is the average, are you guys going to notice it being any faster as an average consumer? Probably not. So for what it is, it's definitely perfect and worth the money. So if you guys are thinking about a Mac Mini, and again, and another question I get asked is, should you buy the M1 Mac Mini right now or wait for the M2? As I've commented and I've stated in the last video, the M2 Mac Mini hasn't even been announced yet. It's close, and there's rumors that we're going to get it, but it's not even announced. Well, we don't even have pictures of what it's going to look like yet. And these are, I mean, Amazon's running sales right now for $520 for the base model Mac Mini right now. And it's perfectly sufficient for what we're using it for and for editing videos. And again, if you wait until maybe next year, the end of next year, sell your Mac Mini and upgrade to the M2 Mac Mini, because we've had the M1 Mac Mini now for the past 2-3 years now. The M2 is probably going to stick around that long as well. So you can always sell the M1 Mac Mini and upgrade at a later time if you even need to. Again, this is perfectly fine for our everyday computing use. So whether you're going to wait for the M2 Mac Mini or you're buying an M1 Mac Mini right now while it's dirt cheap on sale at Amazon, this thing is definite. It'll work for both machines. If any of the leaked rumors and renders that we've seen of the M2 Mac Mini are true, then it's going to be the same size as the M1 Mac Mini. Nothing's going to change. Maybe we'll get some different colors. I don't know. That could be a discussion for another video. However, the size and the shape is going to stay the same, so pretty much you're future-proofed as far as upgrading later on to a different Mac Mini. And this will work with the Intel-based Mac Minis as well. So, I mean, we're going back way back to like 2016 all the way to now. It'll work with all the Mac Minis. So, if you're buying a Mac Mini, definitely look at this. It's a much cleaner look. It's easier to operate. It's better than having dongles hanging all over the place. So definitely, it's worth your money. For $80, I would definitely go out and buy it. All right, guys. So hopefully the audio quality and the video quality is a little bit better for you guys. I did switch up some of my gear. I'm filming now on a iPhone 12 Pro Max instead of the Google Pixel 6 Pro. I've kind of given up on the Google Pixel. There's been some issues with Android 12. Now Android 13 has come out, and I just downloaded it onto my Pixel. I still have it. I haven't traded in. I haven't sold it because I still like the Pixel 6 Pro. It just had some issues. Both me and my wife were having issues with our Pixel phones. So I downloaded Android 13. I'm gonna run it and see how everything works out on the Pixel. See if it kind of livens it up a little bit, gives it a new lease on life, and we'll do a video on that as well. But I can't recommend that phone anymore, so I had to switch things up a little bit. So again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like the video. If you didn't like the video, you can hit the thumbs down button. That's okay too. Hopefully this was informative for you guys and it helped you sway in making a decision. Not sponsored by Quiizlabs or Quiizlabs, however you call it. I bought it with my own money. I pay for all this stuff with my own money. It's just a product that I like, and I'm going to recommend you go out and buy this this hard drive dock enclosure. So hopefully you guys will stick around. We'll see you next time for another review. Thanks for watching.